How difficult is, not just today, but I guess this week, saying goodbye to this group that you worked with for?
Yeah, it's a really good group of young guys. I mean, it's I did all the veterans yesterday. I think we had like 20 of them. And then today we've got the second and third year guys. I think there's 25 of those, and then another 20 something tomorrow rookies. So it's tough. I mean, they worked really, really hard.
What kind of reaction do you get from some of the veterans about what happened this year?
Yeah, a lot of very good reviews. Quite honestly, I mean, they feel like we're going in the right direction. I mean, I've taken into account making tons of notes on how they feel like the one thing they can pinpoint that we can do better, and we're going to take all that and put it in a folder and use it in culmination to try to improve on what we do.
How frustrating has the last 2 years been for you?
It's been very frustrating, but again, at the same time, I've told them and given them my word that all we're going to do is look forward, and we can't sit there and wallow in the fact that we've had 2 poor years back to back. We're looking at where we're going. Talked to both Taylor and Tre this morning and had meetings with them and looking at all the we've got a kind of a team makeup on a PowerPoint up there of the number of guys that are now in their third year, which is starting to trend in the right direction. So we look forward to. Wish we could get started today, but we've got a lot of work to do in the off season.
You mentioned Tre. Talk a little bit about his season and how far he came after he got a chance to start.
Yeah, he did a good job. I mean, he won 4 ball games for us, and he showed the dynamic ability that he can do some things that no other guy in the league can do. And now if he can just go make those, I call them the Dave Dickinson plays, find your check down, find your OTBs, the guys that are over top of the ball, and don't always try to force balls in and don't always look to run. You can't start looking at the rush. And so if he, once he grows into the position, I think he's going to be a very good quarterback.
Can you talk about your off season and how you're going to approach things? I know you changed up how you scouted a little bit last year. Did it work? And are you going to do
Yeah, I feel like it did. We're still, going to see, with the 2 new leagues down there. Again, one of them's already gone awry, but I think they're combining forces or whatever down there. But with the 2 new leagues down there, we have to do a great job of going out, and I feel like getting in front of these players and seeing them firsthand so that they can put a face with a name, So, and that means a lot of road work. And then you kind of it's catch-22 because they reduced our scouting budget from 190 to 110, so it makes it a little tougher to get out there and do that. But we have to spend a lot of time, going through the PFF and finding those players first of all, and then identifying them, and then creating a relationship with them.
How much change do you expect on the roster?
There won't be very much change. I mean, we're a lot closer than what we were a year ago. Like I say, we had a lot of the older guys got injured the first year, and then kind of makes you look back and in hindsight want to go young the first year, and maybe we'd be farther along than what we are right now. But we've got a good young roster of guys. When we get the kicks that we need, we can cover. When we get the protection that we need, we can run. We can throw the ball, and we did run the football effectively, which I felt like is kind of a hallmark of what we got to have moving forward.
Pretty confident you'll be able to take that step next year that everyone needs.
Well, that's kind of the plan. I mean, I would have lost my house that we didn't this year. So again, it's we got to keep our nose to the grindstone, and we've never quit on anything. So we got to keep working and do the things that we know that have been successful in all the other places that we've been.
You got some free agents, not as many as past years. How do you treat that? Are you going to have an opportunity to sign some guys before the end of the calendar year, or are we going to have to wait?
I think pretty much a lot of it is going to have to wait, into the next calendar year. We're going to look at everything and see who all's available, and we're not going to be near as aggressive in free agency as what we've been in the past 2 years, and we're looking at more continuity on our roster, and I think that'll bode well in the fact that guys know who's where and who's where on the roster, that type of thing.
Chris, a big focus this year from the organization was getting fans in the stands.
Yep.
What was it like for you and the players seeing the crowds you had versus what you've seen here in the past?
Yeah, there's again you got to commend our fans. I mean, three very substandard years in a row, and they're still turning out to the games. You know, it's we played in front of crowds with a losing record that were better than some of the teams with winning records, and so I mean it's you got to commend our fans, and we're going to get this thing turned around and give them the football that they expect.
That part of it, with the wins coming, the crowd's going to keep coming as well.
Well, I mean, I would assume. I mean, Edmonton's always been a league leader as far as attendance, and they always have loved football. Football's always been good here, so that's kind of the standard of what we want to bring.
Chris, we know about the coaching salary cap. You just mentioned the chops, the scouting budget. Has there been a lot of talk from coaches and organizations to the league itself about that and about how it's making your jobs more difficult?
Yeah, you know what? I don't do a whole lot of politicking. There ain't a whole lot of phone calls to other people in the league. It does make our job harder, and you got to have good players. Our league's got to have good players. We got to be able to go out and find good players, and so the money to do that it needs to be there. It's especially now with the two other leagues, there's a draw down there to take half of what we used to have full reign. If they didn't play in the NFL, they had to come up here and play professional football because that was the only option. Well, now there's another option, and so it makes it doubly hard to put a good roster together.
What's your first step? What's the first thing you're looking at? How long are you going to be in Edmonton for? And then
you know what? We've got meetings all week. I've got some games that I've got targeted that, if I can get out and get to them and try to get a jump start and use, like I did last year, use the month of November and the month of December to try to get ahead of the game a little bit and get in front of these guys. And like I say, I mean, it's full steam ahead as far as I'm concerned, and we're on to personnel now.
Chris, we know the decision to close the Upper Bowl next season was controversial. Not everyone loves it. What do you say to fans who are maybe thinking, do I renew my season seats next year?
Yeah, well, anytime there's change, I mean, people are going to kind of buck up against it, I mean, I've got a big family, and, I mean, if you move a chair around in the house at Christmas time, I mean, people have problems with it. So, I mean, it's, anytime there's change, there's some question marks as to whether or not that's the right thing to do. I know they did it over in BC, and it certainly has created like a little more excitement when you go into BC Place and all those people are pushed down and it's loud, and now all of a sudden, they've kind of taken an uptick as an organization. So whether or not that was, the thing that maybe helped them, but that's just what they did, and I can only use that as the one example.
What do you say to fans about next season?
Well, I mean, we're going to keep working. I know that, and we've got a really young staff, a really young team, and we got most all those guys coming back. So that's what's encouraging. We should have a little more continuity so that they have some name recognition as well.
When you look back on the season, is there like a particular lesson or thing that stands out that you guys are going to take into next year?
Yeah, I mean, we just need, again, there's a small gap between winning and losing. You take the teams that, we've had two teams that are in the playoffs down by 3 scores on this particular field and end up losing that football game. And it came down to, some major mistakes. That's what we've got to eliminate, those major mistakes. And we got to find a way that when we make that one big mistake, that doesn't, the second, third, and fourth mistake doesn't happen. And that's kind of a little bit of that should be growth as far as maturation of our players, which, that's what we're thinking.
And can you talk a bit more about Tre Ford's role moving forward?
Well, I mean, Tre's a good player. I mean, he's going to have to come back and compete for a job just like everybody else. I mean, he'll come in as our number one, but Taylor Cornelius is a good player also. And I feel like we not only have 2 good quarterbacks, I think we have a third. I think Daigie's a good little quarterback. And so everything's a competition in pro football, and it'll be square one when we come back day one. All righty. Thank y'all much.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it, man.